Hello and welcome to CASA Move on CASI TV. We're changing lives through Christ. I'm Paola Benji Anum and I'm your host for today. You know how the security of students on campus these days is threatened? You mean one moment you're busy going about your activities like it's no one's business, the next moment you hear, oh, there's a clash here, and then you're afraid to do certain things. Some people are even afraid to wear specific colors of clothes because they think it will ignite some sort of clash or something. Today, we are going to find out why these things happen. We'll be discussing student-induced violence on campus. But before we get into today's episode, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still CASA Move on CASI TV. I'm Paola Benji Anum and I'm your host for today. Today we have two wonderful gentlemen in our studio who are going to help us find out the reason why student-induced violence happens on campus. We have Pastor Shadrack, resident pastor at Adenta FWC. Pastor Shadrack, you're welcome.
Thank you, Paola.
With him is Mr. Elijah Karley, former officer of University Christian Fellowship at the University of Ghana, Legon. Mr. Karley, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You look good today.
Thank you. You're not looking bad as well.
Thank you very much. Today's topic is student-induced violence on campus. I want to find out from you, what do you think triggers this kind of violence on campus? Pastor Shadrack.
Thank you, Paula. So we should understand first and foremost that some of these student-induced violence is not peculiar to Ghana. You know, in the US you have California Institute of Technology and then Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Caltech, and then MIT. You know, these two universities have that kind of rivalry. And in Ghana, we also realize that KNUST, Legon, UCC, and other universities also have these forms of rivalries. So it's not just something that is only in Ghana. And now, when you talk of the causes of these student-induced violence or clashes, because it is quite old, you know, it started long ago. So even now, those who are in it don't know why they do it. So it is very difficult to, you know, place your hand on one thing that, you know, is causing, you know, some of these clashes. But what we should understand is that basic to human nature, there is this quest for supremacy. Everyone, probably the Katangis, the Contis, the Casford people, the Vandals, and the Vikings, they want to prove that they are the dominant hall on campus. And so I believe that probably it stems from the fact that we want to fight for supremacy. Okay. And a lighter example I might give that even countries do it. You know, like Ghana Jollof, Nigeria Jollof, you know. We want to feel who is supreme, who is better. So I think that's where it's.
So if I understand you, it means these clashes cannot just be between maybe being in a particular hall or something. It could also be maybe technology students who are trying to compete who is better. So not just between a hall and another hall. It could also be other forms, not just coming from hall and hall.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a basic human instinct,
okay,
to feel superior, to feel better, you know, to be recognized as the lead person. And so I think that it comes from that instinct.
Okay. Mr. Karley, what do you think triggers this student-induced violence?
Okay, so thank you for the question. Taking up from where Pastor left, I think he has set the motion going, and I think it's something that is common among human. But one thing I want to add from to what he said is that one thing that can trigger is student elections. I think once we are in institutions where elections are, you know, and it boils back to the point he made, dominance. So everyone wants to win, everyone to be on top. So when that happens, and you know, individuals who kind of contest for these elections belongs to halls, belongs to a certain group, and people really want to pledge their loyalty to their people. And if it comes to getting them win, they are willing to do whatever it takes to get them win. Yeah. So when it comes to that, these elections things also kind of trigger violence on the campuses as well. So I think it's also one cause of
that. So their loyalty to the particular group is enough for them to fight or do anything for that particular group?
I believe so.
Oh, I see. So are these clashes avoidable, Pastor Shadrack?
Yes, Paul, I think these clashes are avoidable to some extent. You know, I would say they are avoidable because, you know, certain measures could be put in place, you know, before some of these triggers even happen. For example, as Elijah mentioned, when elections are going to be held on campus, because of the history of clashes between the halls or among the people, we could institute measures to prevent you know, these people from meeting. And one of them is probably the local security on campus collaborating with the police force and watching out for suspicious movements, you know, during these election times, so that people don't get the chance even to meet and to clash and to cause all these problems. So I think it's quite avoidable. And one of the things that we could also do to avoid these things is that, you know, not only during election times, when students, as it were, are celebrating hall weeks, you know, there's this corporate movement of these, you know, hall, the inhabitants of each halls. You know, probably in the cases of KNUST, I understand that the University Hall, Katanga, they were, you know, in a procession, in celebrating the whole week, and then they went to the Unity Hall, the Continental, you know, the Conti people. They trespassed on a certain territory. You know, when these things are going on, we could hold leaders accountable, because before a whole week, you know, could be celebrated, letters are written to administration, you know, to seek permission for, you know, these activities to be undertaken. So we could task leaders and then get them to sign an undertaking or an agreement, and then specifically mention punishment that could be meted out to them if a clash should happen. You know, so I think generally speaking, the clashes are quite avoidable.
To some extent.
To some extent.
Not completely.
Not completely. Yeah.
It means they can still happen at some point.
What we are looking at is that, you know, you cannot perfectly curb feuds and then vandalism, but at least to an appreciable degree, we could avoid, you know, the destruction of property and injuries and other things. Okay. So to some extent, it is quite avoidable.
Mr. Karley, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I also think to some extent is it can be curbed. And I would think one of the channels we can do that is through education, as in like educating the students on campus to be able to express their ideas, like without going to the extent of violence. Okay. Yes, once you hold a certain belief and I hold a different one, doesn't mean we are enemies, doesn't mean we should go and kill ourselves. Yeah. No, but we should be able to express our ideas without resulting it ending in violence. Yeah, so I think one thing the school can do is educate the students through seminars to be able to understand these things, that you can have a different belief and I can have a different one.
You can't believe in the
same thing, but it doesn't mean that we are enemies and we should fight each other.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay, we have churches on the various campuses, but these things still happen. What do you think the church can do to help prevent these things?
Okay, so I think one of the things the church can do, basically, I think I would take it back from home, because the church originates from the home, and the family system is one thing that I want to talk about, and this is about how we bring up our children. how our parents raise us, the education they give to us, the orientation they give to us. I think that is the first. I believe the church is first the family. So the family itself is a church. So if you want to talk about the church, let's talk about the family. Okay. So if our parents, as a family, we're able to educate ourselves, prepare ourselves, let me say, disciple ourselves properly, I think we will not find ourselves
doing
such things. Yeah. For example, I don't think I can ever dream of engaging in such an act because the discipline from home, the orientation I've gotten from home, would not permit me to do such things. So once that is in place, then I think the church itself as a body, I think, can adapt to it by discipleship. So I think the church will train you the way to go. The Bible says that train up a child the way he should go. When he grows, definitely he's not going to depart from it. Yes, so if we don't receive that training from our home and the church, that is when they get to these institutions and they are, let me say, exposed to new things, they can be swerved to them. But I think if they have the good training, they will definitely not err.
Okay, Pastor Shadrack, how do you think the church can help?
Yes, the church, since time immemorial, has been integral part of society. So the church has this collaboration or being an integral part of society, and society somehow is also the church. So looking at Genesis, when you read Genesis 1, probably 27, Genesis 1:11, or even the whole chapter of Genesis, chapter 1, you would realize that God made man in his image. And with this understanding, it means that human beings are rational and moral. And so we can appeal to the morality and the rationality of these young men through evangelism on campus. So I think that CASA and other student groups on campus have a lot to do. You have a part to play in evangelizing the unreached. You know, these people are quite confused and they don't have, a certain focus, and that's why they are able. People are able to lure them, to follow some of these things. So the student groups on campus, as a church, have to do massive evangelism, soul winning, and that will bring change of character. Because as Elijah said, if you are, a very serious Christian and you take God seriously, you wouldn't go removing your pants and, bending down and then holding your private part and doing all these things, destroying property and other things. So the Christian community on campus, I should say, have a huge task to evangelize, these people, appeal to their morality and rationality, because they are beings that have been made after the order of God.
But do you agree that some people's characters cannot be changed? So what do you do about those people? Because they also get involved in this kind of things on campus.
Well, I may not agree with you on the fact that some characters cannot be changed.
Okay.
I believe that, at the kind of, vibration or mindset or the energy with which someone is doing something, if you match the person with a different understanding and you have a superior, way of, appealing to the person, everyone has a chance to change.
Okay.
And I think that character could be changed.
So it's possible to change an inherent character that someone